This video will walk you through incremental analysis for special orders. A special order should be accepted when the incremental revenue from the special order exceeds their incremental cost. What you must keep in mind that A, it is assumed that sales in other markets will not be affected by the special order. B, if the units can be produced within existing plant capacity, generally only variable costs will be affected. C, if other sales are affected, then the company would have to consider the lost sales in making the decision. And D, if the companies are operating already at full capacity, it is likely that the special order would be rejected. And that's because of what we just highlighted here. It would not be enough for the special order revenue to exceed the incremental costs, because we'd be losing profit from our current customers. We'd want to make sure that the price that we're receiving for the special order is not only enough to cover our incremental costs, but to give us the same profit that we're getting from our current customers. So let's see how this works by doing an actual problem. We have Brooks Company produces golf disc, which it normally sells to retailers for $6 each. The cost of manufacturing 25,000 golf discs is as follows. So we can see the cost for each here. What we really want to do is figure out what's our cost per unit for each of these, and just take $10,000 and divide it into 25,000 discs, and we get a cost per unit of 40 cents. For labor, doing the same thing, I would get $1.20. For variable overhead, I get 80 cents. And fixed we always keep at total dollars, because fixed overhead changes on a per unit basis and only remains the same on total dollar basis. So you never look at fixed overhead on a per unit basis. It also tells us that Brooks incurs a 5% sales commission, or 30 cents for each disc sold. Now Addington Corporation offers Brooks $4.25 for 5,000 discs. If Brooks accepts the offer, its fixed overhead will increase from $40,000 to $45,000 due to the purchase of a new imprinting machine. No sales commission will result from the special order. So the instructions wants us to prepare an incremental analysis for the special order, or we're trying to decide, should we take on this special order? So what we want to first do is think about, we're going to have new revenue, and then we want to see how taking on that special order impacts those costs that we had listed. So we have materials, labor, our variable costs for overhead, and our fixed costs for overhead, sales commission, and then what do we get for final net income. Now what's really neat is rejecting the order. Simple. We would have no new revenue, and we would incur no new expenses. So for the first alternative, it's 0. So that's the one thing that's nice about rejecting the order. No thinking involved. Just it's all zeros. If we accept the order, it says we're going to get $4.25 each for 5,000 discs. That gives us $21,250 in new revenue. So the change in my future net income would be a positive change of $21,250 of revenue. So we're going to keep it a positive number. For materials, we said our material costs on a unit basis is 40 cents. So for 5,000 units, we take 40 cents times 5,000 units. That would give us new cost of 2,000. We're going to make that negative because since we have revenue and costs under the same incremental analysis, most of the time we don't see revenue. So since we have revenue and expenses, we want to remember to subtract that from revenue. So we're going to make it a negative number, and expenses in the future decreases my new net income for the future. So $21,250 would be the change or increase in net income in the future if I take on this order, but I'd also have a decrease of $2,000 from that net income. For labor, we know labor is $1.20 per disc. So $1.20 times 5,000. I would have new cost of $6,000 for labor. So make it negative as well, and that would decrease net income in the future. For the variable cost of overhead, we know it's 80 cents. And again, I'm just getting these cost per units from above here. So 80 cents times 5,000 disk. I would have new cost of 4,000. That would decrease that new net income by 4,000 in the future. Now this is what you got to be careful. It says fixed overhead will increase from 40,000 to 45,000. It's incorrect to put 45,000 in here. Remember, incremental analysis talks about, it's another way of thinking about this, what is my difference? It's the differences that we're focusing on. The difference is 45 minus 40, or 5,000 in new cost. So that would be 5,000 here. And then it says no sales commission will result from the special order, so that would be 0. So normally you would eliminate this and not even put this part of your incremental analysis because there's no difference in the decision making. Remember, incremental analysis only involves those revenues and costs that differ from each other. Since this does not differ, you really should not even have this here, but I'm just showing you for your future. So then if I take 21,250 in new revenue, when I add up all the expenses, that's 10 plus 7, 17,000. 21,250 minus 17,000, I get net income of 4250, which means I would have a change in future net income of the same 4250. So because this is an increase in net income, we should accept the offer.